It's funny how life just kind of throws different stuff at you depending on the exact season you're in, right? Like when you're single, you've got single challenges. Then you get married, have kids, and suddenly, boom, you've got a whole new set of parenting challenges. Some of these hurdles are totally unique to who you are or where you live or whatever it is you do for a living. But today we're diving into a challenge that is literally universal. It doesn't matter what season of life you're in, how old you are, or what your background is. We are talking about the ultimate, undisputed heavyweight challenge, finances and trust. So let's just dive right into this.
Hey everyone, welcome to Everyday Hope and Simply Grace. Empowered by hope, anchored in grace.
Okay, I want to break the ice right out of the gate and ask you a super honest question. Do you need God's help with your finances? Listen, let's be real here for a second. Money stress touches every single one of us. Maybe your particular stress is just trying to figure out who's actually supposed to pay on a first date. Or, maybe you're sitting there staring at your banking app on your phone and you realize you are exactly 15 cents short for a bank transfer fee and the whole transaction is just blocked. We have all been there. And we tend to fall for this myth, right? We think, man, if I just had a little more money, all my financial problems would totally vanish. But it's just not true. Even people with tons of money have financial challenges. The stress just shifts from how do I get it to how do I not lose it. No matter where you fall on that spectrum, financial pressure is heavy, it's incredibly real, and it absolutely demands our attention.
To really get a handle on how to navigate this, we're going to look at this absolutely fascinating historical case study. Let's talk about King Asa. He ruled over the ancient kingdom of Judah. And Asa was facing a massive, terrifying crisis. See, the rival kingdom of Israel didn't just attack his army head-on. They launched a full-blown economic war. They moved in and fortified a city called Ramah, which sat right on the major trade route, literally just 8 kilometers away from Asa's capital city of Jerusalem. They completely cut off his economic lifeline. Think about the modern equivalent of this. It'd be like someone completely shutting down a major international shipping canal. The rival king knew exactly what he was doing. If he could choke Judah financially, the entire nation would just collapse from the inside out.
Now, check out how insanely fast the panic sets in here. Day 1, the blockade goes up. Week 1, extreme financial panic completely grips the capital. Asa is feeling the squeeze big time. Now, as a spiritual leader, the quote-unquote right answer would be to trust in God's invisible army, right? To seek some divine guidance. But Asa is staring down a very visible, very physical blockade. So, what does he do? He bypasses trusting God entirely, he marches straight into the temple, God's house, takes the dedicated gold and silver, and uses it to bribe the king of Aram to attack his enemy. He literally takes God's treasure to buy a quick, visible fix from a totally foreign king.
And here is the dilemma that makes this whole thing so incredibly tricky to talk about. Asa's plan actually worked. The rival king heard about this new alliance and totally backed off. The blockade ended. Boom, short-term relief achieved. But you've got to look at the long-term cost on the other side of this equation. This perfectly illustrates what I call the appendicitis metaphor. Imagine your appendix bursts. The pain is literally excruciating. Someone walks up and hands you a super powerful painkiller. Does it work? Yes. Does it cure you? Absolutely not. You're still in massive danger. Asa took the painkiller, but later on a prophet came to him and laid out the ultimate cost. By trusting the foreign king instead of trusting God, Asa missed out on God handing that entire foreign kingdom over to him as an inheritance. Instead of total victory and genuine peace, Asa's quick fix locked his nation into constant, endless warfare.
So here is the absolutely crucial point to take away. You give your treasure to the one you trust. This is a universal truth, guys, whether you're religious or not. You invest in a company because you trust it. You put your money in a certain bank because you trust it. King Asa took the temple gold and handed it over to the king of Aram because in his moment of absolute panic, that foreign king was the only one he truly trusted to save his skin. When we are squeezed financially, our actions reveal exactly who or what we are putting our real faith in.
But let's flip that around, because right here is the profound spiritual plot twist. God gives his treasure to the one he trusts. Let that sink in. God's eyes are scanning the earth right now, today. He's actively looking for people that he can trust with his greatest blessings, his biggest opportunities, and his limitless resources. He wants to pour out an inheritance, just like he wanted to do for King Asa. But here's the thing. God is not going to place his ultimate blessings into the hands of someone whose knees are bowed to money as their ultimate idol. He's looking for mutual trust.
So let's bring this right into our living rooms today. We are facing our very own version of King Asa's choice. When finances get tight, there is literally no challenge on earth that can make a genuinely wise person do something as foolish as a financial panic can. It completely distorts our wisdom. We get so tempted to keep 100% of our income just to solve our immediate, visible problems. And let's be real, keeping that 10% tithe that actually belongs to God, it absolutely works in the short term. It means you can upgrade to an Uber X instead of taking the standard ride. It means you can order that ridiculous, expensive dessert after dinner. You get the short-term relief. But over time, withholding that 10%, taking what belongs in God's house to fund your own little kingdom, it robs you of genuine peace. It literally locks you out of the unexplainable open doors and the incredible long-term future God is just waiting to trust you with.
Okay, so how do we actually build this mutual trust? Step 1 is honestly so comforting. Acknowledge that God completely understands your financial stress. He gets it. He knows all about inflation, insane housing costs, and that deep-in-your-gut survival instinct that kicks in when the bills start piling up. He doesn't despise you for feeling panicked. But Step 2 is where your faith actually activates. Commit your 10% to God's house. When you bring that tithe to the place where you are spiritually fed, you are sending a massive signal to God. You're saying, I trust you way more than I trust the visible world. And Step 3, just watch God open doors you couldn't possibly open yourself. When you prove you can be trusted with a little, God begins to pour out blessings, opportunities, and a deep, real sense of peace that a few extra dollars in your bank account could never, ever buy.
And that brings us to the absolute best part of today's explainer. It is time for our Life Plus moment. How do we take this ancient wisdom and actually apply it to our very real, very modern bank accounts?
I want to present you with what we're calling the 365-day challenge, and I am boldly daring you to step into this. Seriously, for the next 1 full year, commit to trusting God with your finances. Calculate that 10% of your income and bring it consistently to God's house. But here's the key. Track it. Keep a real record. Don't just do it blindly. Actively watch what happens in your life. I challenge you to see if your life doesn't genuinely improve in ways you can't even put a price tag on. Watch for that incredible peace that comes in and completely replaces the panic. Watch for those unexplainable open doors in your career, in your relationships, and in your own personal growth. Test it out and just see if God doesn't prove himself to be entirely trustworthy.
As we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. When the pressure is really on, and that financial blockade is sitting right at your doorstep, who are you going to choose to trust with your treasure today? Are you going to go for the visible quick fix or the invisible, totally faithful God who holds your actual future? The choice is entirely yours. Everyday hope and simply grace. See you next time.